Okay, whenever you're ready, Rhian, do you want to start by introducing yourself and remember just kind of...
Right,
look,
okay, yeah.
do you want me to leave my hand up? Is that helpful?
No, that's fine. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm Rhian Bowen Davies and I'm the National Advisor for Violence Against Women, Other Forms of Gender-Based Violence, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence here in Wales. My role is to advise and support ministers, Welsh Government, public services and the specialist sector across Wales to implement the Violence Against Women, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence Act. The purpose of that Act is to improve the responses of our public services in Wales to all forms of violence against women, domestic abuse and sexual violence, and to improve the arrangements that we have across all those sectors for the prevention, protection and support of individuals and families. The Act is now underpinned by the National Strategy here in Wales, and there are 6 key objectives that have been identified in that strategy to drive forward the improvements that we're seeking in Wales. And all 6 of those objectives are absolutely applicable and integral to improving the arrangements for children and young people across the country. The Act and the National Strategy are the key drivers for my work as National Advisor. But what I also see as part of my work is to join together the agendas across Welsh Government and to ensure that violence against women, domestic abuse and sexual violence is not only recognised as a cross-government theme and integral to most of our work, but also how can the sector contribute to the work of government departments and policy decisions at a national level. So we're here today to consider the impact of violence and abuse on children and young people, but also how we can mitigate the adverse childhood experiences that they have. And for me, one of the key things for us to consider is how violence against women, domestic abuse and sexual violence are considered within the ACEs framework. I think what's really important for us to recognise is that the messages around adverse childhood experiences won't be any different to what we know as practitioners, and the specialist sector here in Wales has over 40 years experience of supporting individuals and children around their experiences. But I think the way that the ACEs work has been framed, articulated in Wales really makes it accessible to far more organisations and services. And I think there's messages that align. So the ACEs work speaks about having ACE-informed communities, ACE-informed children and young people, ACE-informed organisations and professionals. And that's what we also want for violence against women, domestic abuse and sexual violence. So where are those opportunities to align our work across the 2 agendas? I think there's also an opportunity for the sector to contribute to an evidence base about what works in Wales around violence against women, domestic abuse and sexual violence. How can we contribute our knowledge of the last 40 years to this evidence base, but also work with the ACEs Hub to develop new evidence base and new interventions and approaches. I think this all highlights that we need to recognise the expertise and knowledge of our specialist sector and to involve them and their contributions to our work as we drive forward ACEs in Wales. For me, another key element of my role as National Advisor is to hear and listen to the lived experiences of children and young people. What's important to them? What does good service provision look like for them? How do I best engage with children and young people? And how can I best inform children and young people the difference that their involvement has made? So one of my key roles as National Advisor is to hear the experiences, the lived experiences of children and young people who've lived within households with...
Sorry, but they're asking for your stage rather than giving the pleasant...
Sorry, it's all moved a lot faster than we thought it was going.